Good morning, degenerates, and welcome to another episode of Boring Crypto IO, a place where I read you the boring crypto news every morning, Monday through Friday, just so you don't have to. My name is Not Important, and I'm your host, LFG. Bitcoin selling for $5,000 cheaper on Binance Australia as fiat ramp closes. Buying a bank won't solve crypto's banking issues, Binance CEO. And Bitcoin Ordinals surpassed 10 million inscriptions as creator Rodarmor steps down to the market. Current market cap, guys, sitting at $1.162 trillion. Bitcoin dominance 46.5%. ETH dominance 17.7%. Can ETH get to 20% dominance? Let's go. And gas up a little bit from yesterday. 42 Gwei will get you an ETH transaction. A little bit of a move yesterday on Bitcoin. Again, we will talk about that shortly. Kind of played out the way I expected it to. Nothing too crazy. With that being said, today kind of a sideways day. Some greens, some reds. Just kind of boring, man. Like, this might be the lull, guys. If you've been here before, there comes a time in the transition from the bull or the bear market to eventually the bull market. There comes a point where it just lulls you to death and we go sideways with some 5% moves here and there, and I'm speaking specifically for Bitcoin, but the entire market would be following Bitcoin, so you get my point. And it seems to feel that that's where we're at, and everybody is in anticipation for what the next big move is going to be, whether it will be a downturn or an upturn, if you get my point. But yeah, nothing really significant. Pepe continues to bleed. Yeah, guys, nothing really significant. AGIX has got some movement. Check that out. 8% on the day, 22.69 for the week. And I'm low. I'm down to I don't usually ever go this low. Top 100. Let's see what the top gains are. The top 24-hour gainers are. And that's going to be AGIX 7.85, or just turned to 8%, 8.18. Yeah, see what I'm getting at? Like I said, it's pretty sideways movement. I mean, I wouldn't turn my nose up at 8%, but that's one token right now in the top 100 doing that. So moving on, let's look at Bitcoin. It's not going to be anything crazy today, guys. Nothing new. Per usual, this isn't a trading channel. I'm a total trader. Don't pay attention to me. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just some random guy in a room making YouTube videos. On top of that, this isn't financial advice, nor am I a financial advisor. So, again, don't listen to me. But if you were here yesterday, you know that I said we were hitting our heads on this 27.98. We'll just call it 28 level. And what I could potentially see happening is us going down and hopefully turning this 27.6, 27.594 is what I've got, into support and bouncing back up, which is exactly what happened. Go watch my video from yesterday. This is exactly what I called. But again, we are bumping our heads on, I mean, just above 28. Again, I call all of this 28. This is 28. It's a psychological level. 28 turned into resistance and we got rejected decently hard. I'm looking to see if there's any kind of, this kind of support right here. Support right through here. Resistance here. I see it more being support than resistance, but we'll see what happens. Potentially on a higher time frame, if we continue to range in this could be a huge bull flag playing out. So something like, we'll pull from down here. and then going straight to the right, ranging up and down, up and up and down. Could be a huge catalyst for a big upwards movement. If you don't know, bull flags are continuation patterns. I think, like I said, I always forget the percentage, but I think it's like 68% chance to move to the upside if it's a bull flag, to the downside if it's a bear flag. But right now I'm seeing bull flags on the higher time frames. Starting to see bull flags. Give it a couple more moves up and down in here before it makes a decision. Trying not to sneeze, guys. I apologize. I have such bad allergies. But outside of that, guys, this is what I'm watching. If we lose 27.6, I'm looking for that 27.310 to hold. If not, bouncing from these levels to go lower and probably retest this 25.816 situation down here. But if we move higher, next level of resistance is at 28.413. We'll just call it 28.4. Don't look at this 28.6. That's just a buy order of mine. And then 28.9, we'll call it 29, is going to be the huge overhead resistance that we're hoping to break through again and move on move on back upwards to that $30,000 level. That's it, guys. That's all I got going on for you. Let's go ahead and move on to the news. Again, not a ton going on. Everything is kind of just boring. People struggling to make headlines out of stuff that really isn't that exciting. So, Bitcoin selling for $5,000 cheaper on Binance Australia as fiat ramp closes. One Bitcoin can be bought for the equivalent of $22,000 on Binance Australia if paid using Australian dollars. The problem is getting the funds there. Bitcoin is trading hands at a hefty discount on the Australian branch of Binance Crypto Exchange, with the price of Bitcoin going down as much as 21%. It's traded against the the Australian dollar, The move comes as traders rush to cash out of their crypto holdings into Australian dollars before the door for local bank withdrawals closes in a few days. On May 18th, Binance Australia informed users that it is suspending Australian dollar services after a decision by its third-party payment provider. Deposits via bank transfer were halted immediately, while withdrawals using the Pay ID service are set to remain open until June 1st at 5 p.m. local time. The exchange has also warned its Australian clients that any Australian dollars remaining on the exchange after May 31st would be automatically converted into USDT. The announcements have since caused a progressive rush to cash out, causing Bitcoin prices to become heavily discounted. At the time of publication, one Bitcoin can be purchased for only 33,750 Australian dollars, equating to around $21,987 US dollars, I'm assuming, or 20% lower than a global spot rate. There's a screenshot of it. Those hoping to capitalize on the cheaper Bitcoin may be disappointed, however. Without the ability to deposit Australian dollars into the trading wallet and hefty premiums for converting other crypto assets into Australian dollars, users may find it difficult to get their hands on the discounted Bitcoin. Binance has also warned of the dislisting of several crypto trading pairs with Australian dollars on June 1st, and for users to pay attention to the risks when trading. Meanwhile, Binance said it is continuing to look for an alternative provider to continue offering Australian dollar deposits and withdrawals. Currently, the ability to buy and sell crypto using credit or debit cards is still available, though these rates appear to be in line with the market. While AUD, I'm assuming that means Australian dollars, deposits by bank transfers are no longer available to Binance users in Australia, there are still several ways Aussie users can deposit onto the exchange. Credit or debit cards, use P2P to buy and sell crypto, third-party payments. Binance has been in hot water with regulators down under, and its derivatives license was canceled by Australian Securities and Investment Commission last month. It is also facing a massive investigation by the U.S. Commodities and Futures Trading Commission. Aussie's crypto broker Swiftix, which relied on Binance for its liquidity needs, H previously stated. Dude, Ben from BitBoy Crypto was reading a Cointelegraph article yesterday too, and he said the same thing I always say. Does no one proofread any of this shit? Like, it's so bad it makes you feel like an idiot while you're reading it. You're like, am I the idiot? Is it? Because trust me, don't get me wrong, I'm an idiot most of the time. But you're reading this stuff and you're like, oh, it's not me. These people don't proofread any other stuff. Let me start this over. Aussie crypto broker Swiftix, which relied on Binance for its liquidity needs, has previously stated, I'm assuming that the H is for has, previously stated that the serving of Binance Australian dollar on and off ramps would not affect its own operations. There you have it. Go get some cheap Bitcoin if you got Australian dollars. Buying a bank won't solve crypto's debanking issue. Binance CEO CZ highlighted examples such as regulatory complexity and capital requirements as reasons why he isn't keen on Binance buying a bank. Binance CEO CZ says the firm is unlikely to buy up any banking institutions despite a growing worry of crypto companies being debanked, including Binance's own operation in Australia. The collapse of several United States banks this year has promoted concerns at the pool of crypto-friendly banks is shrinking. Former key bank partners Silvergate, there it is again, they didn't even capitalize the F. Former banking partners Silvergate and Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank have all capitulated this year. Meanwhile, down under. This is getting bad. Down under. Cointelegraph, you guys suck. Meanwhile, down under, Binance Australia announced a halt to its Australian dollar services as its payment provider decided to end support for the exchange. The exchange has still yet to find an alternative provider. Appearing on a May 29th episode of Bankless Podcast, CZ responded to a question from popular Twitter user DGen Spartan, who humorously asked, "Can you please buy a bank and make it crypto friendly?" CZ, well, we did look at that, CZ said, as he went on to outline the limitations that train of thought. On that train of thought. See, I'm an idiot too. The reality is much more complex than the concept. You buy one bank, it only works in one country, and you still have to deal with banking regulators of that country. It doesn't mean you can buy a bank and do whatever you want to do. If the banking regulators say, look, you can't work with crypto, then they can take your license away if you do. So buying a bank doesn't prevent regulators from telling you, no, you can't touch crypto, he added. Delving further into the matter, CZ argued that even if Binance bought one bank, it would still need corresponding banks all over the world, and most of the corresponding banks are in the US. The corresponding banks will tell your bank, look, if you touch crypto, we're not facilitating your international transactions, he said. Another issue is also the cost, argued CZ, as he suggested that Binance would barely make a profit from owning a bank or a network of banks. Banks are not cheap. Banks are very expensive for very little business revenue. The amount of capital required is quite high, and the regulatory approval for buying a bank is the same or more as setting up a new bank, which is very onerous, he said, adding, many banks don't have very sound business models. They're very risky businesses. They take the customer's money, loan it out, try to make money. If they don't get it back, they declare bankruptcy. In many countries, the government will save them, but I don't like to run those kinds of businesses. Ultimately, however, CZ stated that Binance may make small minority investments into banks so that it hopefully influences them to be more crypto-friendly. All right, guys, last but not least, and I'll get you out of here. Bitcoin Ordinals surpassed 10 million inscriptions as creator Rodarmor steps down. The number of Ordinals has grown from 1 to 10 million in less than 6 months. The number of Ordinals inscriptions on the Bitcoin network has surpassed 10 million mark just days after its creator stepped down as a project caretaker. On May 28th, Casey Rodarmor announced on Twitter he had stepped down as the project's lead maintainer, claiming that he'd been unable to give Ordinals the attention it deserves. Rodarmor handed the role over to pseudonymous coder Rafjeff, I can't with these names, guys. I'm an idiot. Launched in January, the Ordinals protocol rapidly became the most popular way to mint new assets on the Bitcoin blockchain. Ordinals originally began as a way of inscribing data in the witness portion of Bitcoin transactions and are written onto individual Satoshis, the smallest divisible unit of Bitcoin possible. However, what truly sent the number of Ordinals inscriptions into overdrive was the advent of the BRC20 token standard. In early March, this new token standard brought about pseudonymous developer Domo allowed users to mint entirely new tokens on Bitcoin for the first time in history. The number of Bitcoin-based tokens skyrocketed from a few hundred in the first week to more than 25,000 at the time of publication, according to the data from brc20.io. The rise of Ordinals has not been without controversy, which many Bitcoin advocates criticizing the method of inscribing assets on the network for being inefficient and wasteful, especially when it comes to block space and transaction fees. As such, other developers have been exploring the use of smart contracts to mint assets as NFTs on Bitcoin. On the flip side, Bitcoin advocates have praised Ordinals for its ability to onboard new users onto its wider Bitcoin community. Recently, avid anti-Bitcoin advocate Peter Schiff minted a small number of NFTs that due to is a waste of space on Bitcoin by the way of Ordinals protocol, making the first time the gold-loving investor has ever interacted with Bitcoin beyond criticizing it. While it's clear that Ordinals have played a major role in the spiking of Bitcoin transaction fees, the flurry of network activity has been a boom for miners, which have now seen more than $44 million in Ordinals related fees paid out according to data from Dune Analytics. I'm not mad at it, guys. Bitcoin was a sleeping dinosaur and it needed something to continue to gain popularity. Yeah, not mad at it. Let me know what you guys think. Comments down below. Outside of that, guys, that's all I have for you today. Let's look at Bitcoin one last time per usual. And maybe we're moving back up. We're gonna hit this 27.9 whatever. What just happened? That was weird. Why does that keep happening? Anyway, 27.981. Again, we're gonna call that 28. And let's see if we keep moving. That's on the 8 hour. Go back to the 4. Let's see the 1 hour. 1 hour looking healthy for consolidation. See the 30. Sorry, I'm not talking, I'm just thinking. Go back to the 1 hour. Look at the RSI and stuff. I think we range, guys. That's where my head's at. I think we range, continue to hold 27.6 as support before we move up further. That is where my head is at. I'm not seeing, again, I'm not a good trader by any means. Unless something weird happens in the news, I'm not seeing anything that's going to make me think that this is going to go down significantly. And I'll tell you why. This pattern from here to here looks just like this pattern from here to here. Looks just like this pattern from here to here, upward and onward. Repeat pattern, repeat pattern, repeat pattern. That's what I'm saying. Outside of that, that's it, guys. If you enjoy the content I provide for you here every morning on Boring Crypto.io, please by all means subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for notifications, watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos on all your social platforms. Please, it helps us out greatly. And I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. I am out of here.